Know this about procrastination. Today I'm talking about procrastination. I've been a clinical psychologist for 8 years, and this is what I know. Procrastination means to put off doing things you're meant to do or you have on your schedule. To me, procrastination is not the same as deciding to do a task later at a fixed time and then letting it go in your mind until that time. It looks more like continuously thinking about the thing you have to do, possibly being a bit overwhelmed or stressed out by it and feeling bad, and then not doing the thing or delaying and delaying and delaying. Often, procrastination leads to self-criticism and challenges with mental health. For many, the word is linked to something bad and something to be shameful about. As one of the important 4 basics of our mental health is to do things or get things done, I thought it would make sense to make a video on this topic. I want you to know more about the problem of procrastination and how to deal with it. So, today I want to let you know how to become immune to procrastination. The short answer is, only do things you love and get an assistant to do the rest. Of course, my clients will think that I'm joking when I say this, but I say it to let them know the essence of procrastination. Sometimes my clients can feel stuck and feel like they can't get anything done or master anything. With this example, I want to help them remember that they're probably fully able to do things they like and enjoy. This means that they're not broken or unable, but that the procrastination might have to do with specific tasks that are hard. If those tasks weren't there, they would not have the problem. Of course, life holds many things we don't necessarily enjoy, and until we reach CEO status, we have to wait to get a team of assistants. But what to do until then? Procrastination is putting off a task that's hard. When I meet a client who's dealing with procrastination, they want to know how to stop procrastinating as it makes them feel bad about themselves and that they end up not getting things done or getting things done in the last minute or too late in a very hard or stressful way. It hurts them in 2 ways: self-criticism and stress, and often not getting important things done. In order to tackle this and help them get rid of procrastination, I'll start with guiding the client to look into how to make the task less hard. Again, remembering my first comment on if the task was okay or likable, then it wouldn't be connected to procrastination. Most will have had the feeling of success or satisfaction when a task is completed or over, such as getting a paper handed in, having finished cleaning, coming home from a walk, or other tasks. This pairing of enjoyment or nice with a task is what makes us want to repeat it in the future. When we're struggling with procrastination, we're likely not experiencing this due to the prolonged self-criticism and stress connected with trying to get ourselves to do the task and the often very hard way we end up doing it. This makes the task be associated with pain in our mind and we'll be less inclined to want to do it in the future. We'll feel resistance to it, which is basically what procrastination lives from. Therefore, I seek to help the clients reverse this. I want to help them with getting tasks done in a way that feels better. This can be hard for my clients to do at first, but very efficient when they get the hang of it. What I let them know is that they should think of a way to make the task easier. I'll make more videos on different strategies of doing this, so that this video can be kept for one strategy only. This strategy is getting help from others. Usually when I mention this, at first my client will resist and say that this is not okay, that getting help will make them feel bad about themselves and like a failure in life. This is normal and not a surprise for me to hear. I'll let them know again about my CEO example. I'll ask them if they think badly of a CEO who has assistants. If that makes them a bad person, or lazy, or if that's likely just helping the CEO become more efficient in what they're doing. I'll ask how efficient they thought the CEO would be if they had to do everything on their own, if they would succeed, or if they would end up feeling bad and dropping everything on the floor. Together with this example and letting them reflect, I'll let them know that procrastination as a problem often rests on a bad or life rule that we have to do everything ourselves. Often this rule contains little flexibility and a lot of perfectionism. If the CEO had this rule of having to do all by themselves, they would likely not succeed. I'll let them know that getting immune to procrastination has to contain making the task easier in the first place so that our mind can stop resisting it so much. And that by doing so, the problem with procrastination will minimize itself or go away. If a task seems doable, we won't tend to procrastinate. So how to make the task seem doable? One recipe is to lower the bar or lower your standards of having to do everything by yourself and ask for help. Be like the CEO and get someone to help you be efficient and make the task seem less daunting. I haven't seen procrastination in my clients who have habits of getting help from people around them. For me, this makes sense, as I believe that procrastination is built on the life rule that we have to do everything on our own. I also see that when I help a client counter this unhelpful life rule and allow themselves to get help with hard or daunting tasks, that their procrastination minimizes and leaves if they continue this behavior. Therefore, getting help from another person is in my mind the most efficient strategy in getting rid of procrastination. I want to give you some examples of what challenging this life rule can look like. Either getting help can be someone working with you on your task or maybe just being there with you. Usually the problem of procrastination sits on us feeling that the task is too hard or perhaps too uninteresting. We'll delay doing the task just as we'll try to avoid other discomforts. When we have to do something hard, making it easier is often the most successful strategy. This can be done by the help of someone. This can be in the form of buddy doubling, where two people work on the same task. By pairing up with somebody doing different tasks at the same time, making us feel held accountable and supported. The presence of somebody can also help us be distracted from our thoughts of not wanting to do the task, making it easier to override the thoughts and get the task done anyways. And of course, just in practical terms, most difficult or hard tasks can be done easier with help. Getting used to getting help can in return break down the unhelpful life rule that's causing the procrastination in the first place. If we continue allowing ourselves help, then we'll stop thinking that this is not allowed. What's making procrastination so difficult or keeping it alive is our perception or anticipation of a task being hard. If we get some successes by easing our load or by taking the mental leap into that it's okay to lower the bar, get help or assistance, we'll likely feel less inclined to procrastinate. When we have to do all that and it feels dreadful and horrible, it makes sense that we don't want to do it. And just pushing through will often be quite hard and uncomfortable, supporting our experience of doing tasks being quite uncomfortable. This will likely keep it going. If we begin to lighten the load, we'll be teaching our system that doing the task is not as uncomfortable. Getting the help of another can be that there's someone who makes you tea and serves you lunch and tidies up after your lunch if you have some homework to do or another task. Getting help from another can also be them sitting next to you and working alongside with you, and then you can hold breaks together and feel morally supported. Getting help can also be that they're helping you with what you're doing. Maybe they're looking things up or writing while you tell them what to write. Maybe they're washing the floor you just vacuum cleaned, Or maybe you each start in a corner with picking up mess and meat in the middle. It doesn't have to always be the same. All forms of help work. The difficulty with this, I find, is that people feel wrong for getting help or making their work easier. They have thoughts of self-criticism, like that this is lazy or makes them a bad person. I always counter this with the popular quote, work smarter, not harder. If we want to be efficient and get things done, what's wrong with doing it in a smart way? I might ask. Is it better to keep feeling horrible and struggle? Does that make you lazy? Can a good person ask a friend for help? And is it likely that you will have more energy for your friend and their life and their struggles, potentially helping them out, if you allow yourself to get some help with what you're struggling with? Would that be okay? As we move from a rigid mindset of having to power through hard tasks on our own into a more flexible mindset of getting help, making things run more smoothly, we'll start to find ourselves immune to procrastination. I think this is all we had time for. What was your takeaway from today's video? As always, feel free to take away the information you can use, if any, and leave the rest. Hopefully you found that today's topic made sense and I didn't waste your time. Please like and subscribe so my channel can grow. Take care and see you for the next one.